السلام عليكم، يعطيكم العافية جميعا. استكمالا لدرسنا السابق المتعلق بأعضاء الكلام أو the organs of speech. I think during the class we discussed the lips, the tongue, and the teeth, and we also said that the tongue is the most active organ. We also said that we have mobile and immobile organs. We said that mobile organs are the organs which move during the production of speech, and the immobile are the ones that do not move when we produce speech. As you can see in the picture, we have, let's start from the top. We have nasal cavity, velum, hot palate, teeth, lips, tongue, larynx, and the vocal cords. Now, the one which we'll begin explaining is not actually in this picture, but in this one, and it's called the alveolar ridge. Now, as you can see, the alveolar ridge, of course, is an immobile organ, and it includes the area between the upper front teeth and the hot palate. Now, alone, it does not actually produce any sounds, but with the help of other organs, such as the tongue, and to be more specific, the blade of the tongue, we have certain sounds that are produced, such as the t, the d, l, n, s, and z. Now, if you try to produce the t, you would need the blade of the tongue, which we explained during the class, and you would also need the alveolar ridge in order to produce this sound. Now, if you try to move your tongue to the back or to the front, you will not be able to produce any of these sounds correctly. Now, another organ, which is, let's go back and look at the other drawing, which is the hot palate. Now, the hot palate, as you can see, is a thin, horizontal, bony plate of the skull, and it is located in the roof of the mouth. Now, again, if the tongue touches or interacts with the hot palate, we have the production of the sounds t, d, and y. Now, some may ask the question, we have the same organs used for the production of different sounds, so how is it that we have different sounds? And this is a very good question. The answer to this question lies in the fact that we have organs of speech, we have manner of speech, and we also have place of articulation. And we will explain the place of articulation and the manner of articulation later on. And we also have the third feature, which is voicing, whether the sound is voiced or voiceless. And we will explain that, inshallah, in detail later. Now, moving from the hard palate to the soft palate, or what we call the velum. So the soft palate is also the velum. Now, there has to be a space left in order for the sounds to be produced, okay? And there has to also be holes forming that function during speech to separate the oral cavity, which is the mouth itself, from the nose, in order to produce the oral speech sounds. Now, if this separation is incomplete, air escapes through the nose during speech, and the speech is perceived as hypernasal. And this is what happens when, for example, someone gets sick and they try to produce certain sounds, but these sounds, let's say, merge with other sounds, so the result is incomprehensible words. Now, for example, if someone is sick or has the flu and they would say mama, it would be something similar to baba, because again, there's a problem in the separation area. Another organ of speech that we're going to address now is, let me share the other screen. It's the pharynx. But let me find you a picture that explains it, or explains where it is located. So the pharynx it's like a tube beginning just above the larynx and ending with two parts. It is the structure that holds and manipulates the vocal cords, or what is also called the Adam's apple in males, of course. It's the bump formed by the front part of the larynx. So if you give me a second, I would show you what I am talking about. Now, I want to find a clear, yes, I found a clear picture. Let me share my screen. Okay, now if you look here, I repeat what I said earlier so that you would connect what I said to what you're watching or what you're seeing in front of you. I said that the pharynx, it's a tube, as you can see, and it's right above the larynx, and it ends in two parts. And it also holds and manipulates the vocal cords, which we need to produce sounds. And if you look here, this is what we call the Adam's apple, which exists obviously in men. And like, you might ask again another question: why are we learning these things? And the answer to this question is that you need to familiarize yourselves with the organs of speech, because if one day you're going to explain it to someone else, how the speech is produced, as English language students, you need to have such information. Now, moving forward, we move to something that is called the glottis. And I don't know if you can see my screen or not. The glottis is a combination of vocal folds and space in between the folds. And as the vocal folds or chords, whether you call them folds or chords, as they vibrate, the resulting vibration produces a buzzing to the sounds we make. And hence we have something that is called voiced or voiceless sounds. The sound that involves only the glottis in the production, or the only organ that functions is the glottis, is when we produce the sound ha, ha, as in habit. Now, if you try to say ha, you would notice that the only organ that is in function here is the glottis. If the glottis as an organ is used with other organs, as I said, we give the quality of being voiced or voiceless to the sounds. For example, we have the two sounds f, as in feather, and we also have v, as in van. Now, the and fa, they have similar characteristics. They are produced from the same places and the same organs are used. But what differs these two is that when the sound is made, when it is vibrated, when it is voiced, it becomes v, but when it is voiceless, or it loses the quality of vibration, it is, and we will explain that, inshallah, in detail later.